Welcome back to my channel. Let's talk about all of the books that I read in June. Let me pull up some stats first. So I read 10 books in June, kind of 11, we'll get to that. So let's get into it. This was my June TBR, well, minus these two. So this was my June TBR. I technically read The Proposal before June because I picked my TBR at the end of May, and I started this one immediately because it was available to listen to on Libby for me immediately. So I started it right away and finished it on like the 30th of May. So technically I didn't read this one in June, but it was on my June TBR. And then I'll just go in order of how I read them. So the first book that I read in June was A Legend of Golden Shadows. So this one is about a girl who is adopted into the royal family and becomes the king's assassin. And there is a group called the Red Bones that are trying to kill off anyone that has magical powers, and so the king has basically hired this girl as his personal assassin to kill off all of the Red Bones. There's a romance between one of the princes. It was pretty good. It definitely ended on a cliffhanger for the next book. I read this book because my husband's friend wrote it, and it was pretty good. I gave it a 3.5 or 3.75 rating, so it was good. I would recommend it. It definitely gave me, like, you could tell it was heavily inspired by Sarah J. Maas. The next book that I read in June was The Librarian of Auschwitz. This one was really interesting. It was about a real person who was at the concentration camps, but it is a fiction story. So it's not 100% true, but it's based off of a true person. Basically, it follows a young girl who is in Auschwitz and is put in charge of keeping the 8 books that the other Jews smuggled into Auschwitz safe and hidden from the Nazis, and it just follows her whole time while she is in Auschwitz. It was pretty good. I gave this one 3 stars. The next book that I read in June was called It's a Date Again by Geneva Rose. I read this one on my Kindle. This one follows a girl who is known to be a serial dater. She is in the middle of dating 3 guys. She figures out which one she loves, and she's on her way to tell the one that she loves them. And while she's on the way, she gets hit by a car and it puts into a coma, and when she wakes up, she has amnesia. She doesn't remember anything, like literally anything. Doesn't know her name, anything. And these 3 guys that she was dating all show up at the hospital claiming to be her boyfriend, and so she's basically has to redate all 3 of them to figure out which one she loves. And I gave this one 3 stars as well. I would recommend this one. It was an easy, fun time read. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was nice to read by the pool. The next book I listened to was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have been wanting to read this one for a while. It is about a vampire who is set to marry a werewolf to form a treaty between the 2 species, and it just follows her in this marriage. There's politics, alliances. It was pretty good. I gave this one 4 stars. The next book I read was another Kindle book, and it was Christina Lauren, The Exception to the Rule. This one was kind of like a little novella short story. It follows a girl and a guy who, while they were in high school, the guy emails supposedly a professor or teacher to get an extension on an assignment, but he accidentally emailed another student, and it happened to be on Valentine's Day that he emailed her, and so they kind of exchange back and forth saying Happy Valentine's Day to each other, and then every single year following on Valentine's Day they email back and forth with each other Happy Valentine's Day and get to know each other a little bit and kind of start to fall in love with each other, and then they end up meeting years and years later without realizing that they met in person. I gave this one 4 stars. It was really cute. I really liked the concept of the emails back and forth, and it made the read go so fast. I read it in literally one sitting within like an hour or two before I went to bed, because the whole first half of the book is just emails back and forth between each other. So it made it go really fast. It was really cute and different. And the next book that I read, I listened to on Libby, and it was City of Fallen Angels. I am currently in the middle of this series. This is the 4th one, so I can't really say too much without giving it away. It's the Mortal Instrument series. It's a pretty old book series, so I'm sure most of you, or a lot of you, have read this series already. It's about shadow hunters who are descendants of angels basically, and they are hunting down demons, and there are werewolves and vampires and just all that good stuff. I give this one 3 stars. It's about what I've been giving the entire series so far. So I only have 2 more books in this series left, so I'm excited to keep up with it. And then the next book that I read was If the Tide Turns. This one was actually a library book, so I have to return this one. This book takes place in 1715 Eastham, Massachusetts. And again, this one is kind of similar to The Librarian of Auschwitz, where it follows real life people, but the story is made up. So it is about a girl named Maria who falls in love with a guy named Samuel. Samuel is a sailor who basically gets turned pirate, and Maria is at home. Her family's trying to force her into a marriage with another man, but she is holding out for Samuel. She is trying to hold out for him to get back, but it turns out that it gets out that he has turned to piracy, and she is forced to marry this other guy because of certain circumstances. And Samuel is trying to make his way back home to her. So it was pretty good. I gave this one 4 stars. Would recommend. The next book I read was another Kindle book, and it was 8 Weeks Later by G.T. London. This one was really good. I liked it. It is about a guy who inherits a beach house in Hawaii from his grandparents that he didn't know existed, and he goes to Hawaii to try to sell this beach house, but also learn about his family that he didn't know existed. And it's just a really cute, heartwarming story of him finding Ohana, as they call him, finding family in Hawaii and falling in love, and just like falling in love with not just only a person, but the island itself and just the community that's there. It was a really heartwarming story. This is actually my book club pick, and I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked this one. I would definitely recommend. It's a really good summer read, even though technically it takes place in February. It's in Hawaii, so it feels very tropical and summery, even though it's not in the summer, but I would recommend it as a summer read. The next book that I read this month is Dance of Thieves. I have been wanting to read this duology for a really long time. I have had these books for probably a year to year and a half, both of them. I originally bought them because the covers are beautiful, and it was Barnes & Noble buy one get one half off, so I bought both of them. But this book basically follows a girl who used to be a thief and is now part of the Queen's Guard. And the Queen sends her off onto a mission to find a specific outlaw. And while she's out there, she runs into the son of the leader of the place that she's sent to, and the leader has passed away, and so the son is taking over the leader role. And it's an enemies to lovers. They kind of join forces by the end, but it is a very good book. Lots of secrets get out, and I will say I wasn't 100% behind the mission that the main character was on. I was more interested in just the overall journey that she was on with both the romance and just herself. But towards the end of the book, you get more interested in the mission that she's on. I am excited to read the next one, but I haven't picked it up yet. I mean, I have it, it's right here, but I haven't started reading it yet. I gave this one 4 stars. Honestly, I'm between like 4 and 4.25. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was going to be a 5-star, so I'm a little sad that it wasn't a 5-star, but maybe the duology together will be a 5-star because I had high hopes for it. But that was the next book that I read. And then the last technical full book that I read was, what's it called? The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. I did enjoy this book. I listened to this one even though I own it. So this one follows a girl who has blood magic, and she is one of the last with actual blood magic, and she is forced to become the Bloodwyn, which basically is like the Bloodwyn is a person with blood magic who is forced to marry the prince or the king to keep a treaty between the witches and the humans. And she doesn't want to marry him, obviously, and so, but she has to go to the kingdom where the king is, and there is this outbreak of a disease that is killing off witches. And she is trying to find a cure for it with the princess. There's a love story that ensues, and it was pretty good. Wasn't like amazing. I think I gave it, what did I give it? I gave it 3 stars. So wasn't amazing, but it was still good and interesting. And if you like witches and that type of stuff in books, then you would definitely like it. And then lastly, the book that I'm like kind of read in June, kind of didn't, is This Summer Will Be Different. I am kind of including this because I read the majority of it in June. I finished it on July 1st, but I only read like 35 pages on July 1st. The rest of the book, the rest of the 300 pages I read in June. So I feel like it should be a June book that I completed in June, even though technically I finished it on July 1st. I read most of it in June, so I'm including it in this video. I'll probably include it in July's video too, just because technically I did finish it July 1st. But this one follows a girl named Lucy who goes to the small town that her best friend was raised in, and she kind of starts a romance with this guy that she met at the pub that she goes to. Turns out that guy is the best friend's brother, and the best friend specifically told her not to fall in love with her brother, but every summer she goes back to this island with her best friend, and a romance ensues between Lucy and the brother. And you just kind of get to see it goes back to then and now timeline between currently where the best friend is about to get married and goes back to the island to work some things out and has her best friend Lucy come with her. And then it goes back to all of the previous summers, so you can see kind of the romance growing between Lucy and the brother. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. Was a perfect summer read, and I just really liked the overall story, so would definitely recommend this one. Honorary June finish, technically July, but we're counting it. That is all of the books that I read in June. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys!